In today's show, we look at Monday's NBA action. There was 7 games on. We look at waiver wire trends, updates on news. There was a trade, all of that stuff. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com. You can find me on Twitter as always, at @redrock_Beeble, on TikTok, at @redrock_Beeble, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. All right, we have lots to talk about. There was a bonus show today covering the Rui Hachimura deal. So make sure you go check that out, Warnie.
Let's get it on, Gilly.
All right, I did a whole 15 minutes on the Hachimura deal in that earlier show. I do encourage you to go check it out. You can find it wherever you find podcasts. You can find it on the YouTube feed. Let's just recap it, though. Hachimura traded for Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks. The latest report from Jovan Buha, he's a legendary Lakers reporter. He said that the plan is for Hachimura to start. Again, I don't know what the Lakers do half the time with the players they acquire. They're just not players that I enjoy or think are guys to build around. We have seen Rui Hachimura as a starter before. Just don't get it confused. Rui Hachimura has started games in the past before, and it has never been a good fantasy situation. He has never been a 12-team league option in those starts. It's not like he's always been stuck coming off the bench. He started every game for his first 2 seasons, played 30 minutes and 32 minutes, and was not a 12-team league player. Remember that. Last season, he started 13 games because he had that weird start to the year and the addition of Kuzma with the personal problems. And this year, he hasn't started a single game, although he is playing 24 minutes a game. We have seen Rui Hachimura starting. We have seen it. Yes, first and second year player, so there is improvement there. But when does he touch the ball? When LeBron has it, or when Davis has it, or when Schroeder has it, or when Westbrook has it, or to be honest, when Lonnie Walker has it? And what else does he do? Does he ever pass? Lol. He's never averaged 2 assists per game. Does he get steals? Well, he's never averaged more than 0.8. What about blocks? He's at a career high of 0.4 this season. He's had 1 season shooting over 34% from 3. That was last year at 45% on the lowest volume of his career. I just don't buy him as this great fantasy. He just needs the opportunity. You know what? He's had the opportunity and didn't do anything with it. And the reason he lost his starting spot, because he wasn't very good. So I actually have no problem with taking a flyer on Rui Hachimura, right? But people, they're squinting to see something that just isn't there, has not been there through 177 games. It hasn't been there at all. And not through lack of opportunity. Yes, he will probably start over Lonnie Walker because Lonnie Walker is short Rui Hachimura. They're the same player, but one's taller. And I think that does give the edge to Hachimura. But even if he plays 30 minutes a night, I don't think that it's a bit must-roster situation. He's worse DeAndre Hunter. Do any of you sit here and go, man, I really love having DeAndre Hunter on my team. He's a great must-roster player. Does anyone think that? I don't think so. He's a significantly worse RJ Barrett. How much do people love having RJ Barrett on their fantasy teams? That's who he has been. And again, this does not preclude a bunch of stuff changing. Maybe he becomes this defensive menace who generates assists and becomes an elite rebounder on high-volume threes. Maybe that happens. I'll bet against something that I've never seen happen before, ever, from him. Like, he's just never done it. I'll bet against that. Again, no problem. Take a fly. That's what your streaming spot's for. He might play Wednesday. Although I think the next game's Saturday after that. He'll play one of those games, and we'll see it. And then we'll see the return of Reeves and Davis and Walker. From what I hear, that Walker will probably be the one coming off the bench. It'll be Schroeder, Beverly, Hachimura, LeBron, and Davis as the starting group. But I still, someone had a comment in one of the YouTube videos, man, how don't you see his production rising? Because I don't. Like, I've got to balance all of the shots and pace and usage when I do projections. And to get it there, Hachimura's value has to drop. His shooting numbers, his usage has to drop to make it balance in this team. Because he will be, at best, the number 3 option in the starting group. Maybe number 4, depends how Schroeder works. And then you've still got 30 minutes of Westbrook to feature in there. So that for a majority of the minutes, he'll be the number 4 guy at best. Maybe the number 5 guy. Remember that part of it. And his peripherals are bad. No problem taking a flyer on him, and in a points league, it actually can work. In a category league, I'm just highly skeptical of it. For all of those reasons that I've laid out with Hachimura. I just don't think that he is that valuable of a player and that valuable of a category league fantasy contributor. We can say all these things, but what if he becomes this shooter? And what if he does defensive stuff? Cool. Never has. Just never has. What if he develops? Maybe. He's 24. Right? We haven't really... Look, he's almost 25. He's turns 25 in 2 weeks. So, I don't know, it feels like I'm bashing the bloke, but I'm not. I'm just trying to explain where I sit with why I have him projected not as good as some people think he will be, and why I am quite skeptical of it being an elite sort of situation for him. I don't really see that. There you go. Again, love your comments on it, love your feedback on it. Happy to go back and forward and debate on it, but I'm just trying to, again, it's nothing personal. It's literally what I've seen from Hachimura across 180 NBA games so far. DeAndre Ayton and Landry Shamet remain out for the Suns tomorrow, so Biyombo and Landale, yeah, maybe. Saric gets a little bit of a boost there, but obviously you'll get Cam Johnson, Torrey Craig. They get those boosts as well. It's hard to peg down a bloke to be a must-stream guy, but Biyombo, Craig would be the 2 that I'd look at, and then probably Saric after that with Landale and Damian Lee following on after that. And then the other news, which we covered on the injury report show later on, is Porzingis. He's out week to week with the ankle problem, and again, I've buried the lead here again. Dan Gafford's the ad. Dan Gafford's the ad because Hachimura is gone, but also because Porzingis is out. This is a must-add situation for Dan Gafford. You can take flyers on Rui Hachimura by all means. 100 times out of 100, I would add Gafford over Hachimura without any shadow of a doubt. No problem with saying that whatsoever. I would add Gafford over Hachimura every single time. And to be honest, there'd be a debate between me adding Rui Hachimura or Denny Avdia. I think Avdia is probably a better overall category league player. Rui's a better overall points league player. And there you go. That's all that done. It's just, I wasn't even meaning to talk about Rui, to be honest. We still got 5 minutes out of it somehow. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here, and we're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they are the number 1 sportsbook in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers, join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel has all of your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. If we go over and have a look at some of the games for tomorrow, the Cavs are 3-point favorites over the Knicks. It looks like Donovan Mitchell will return. So is 3 points enough for the Cavs on the road? Is it not enough? I'd say it's probably not enough, to be honest, going up against the Knicks over there. But that is listed over there on FanDuel, as are the Wizards, who are 7.5-point underdogs against the Dallas Mavericks. All of it is on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So, NBA fans and football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Don't forget to gamble responsibly. Let's look at waiver wire. Let's look at the most added players over the last 24 hours. Number 1 is the big fella, Pat Williams, in Chicago. Made sense with their schedule. He returned good value today. Strong ad. He's playing much better. They got a Tuesday and Thursday game. We like that. Grant Williams up 16%. Well, that didn't work out quite as well. The opportunity was there, but he fluffed it. They've still got a strong schedule, so it's probably worth holding him. And then Alex Caruso, the rabbit hunter. He was up 15% as well.
Be quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
He was great as well. 28 minutes. Is it because Dragic is out? Possibly. But the defensive stats alone from Caruso make him worth at least a flyer for the Tuesday and Thursday game coming up here. Again, that's surrounding a big volume 11 or 10 game wins. I don't remember what it is actually, but I know it's a high volume day. KJ Martin up 13%. Yes, with Kevin Porter Jr. out for the week. Martin is the ad there. Jeremy Sohan up 13%. He's been playing pretty well lately, and he is moving into at least a 12-team discussion, especially in points leagues. D-Line right up 11%. I don't think the Hachimura trade impacts D-Line that much. I think D-Line was good anyway. I think he was a 12-team league option anyway. So, yeah, makes sense. The big fella in Charlotte.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I think you've got to have him, to be honest. I don't know whether the cockroach gets traded. I would think at some point he does or gets marginalized. But again, it's Steve Clifford, and bullshit coaching is his forte. But I think you've got to have him at least to see what happens until the trade deadline. By the way, that reminds me, trade deadline, live show on this channel. We're going to do it starting at, what's the time? 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, the 10th of February. I think it's the 10th, Thursday, the 10th of February. We're doing it 1:30 p.m. Eastern live show on this channel. Last year, I was a co-host on the Locked On NBA trade deadline show, and there was a lot of technical difficulties. Don't worry, that's not going to happen this year. We're going to do it the same way that I do all of my live streams, all of my pre-game shows. There won't be any issue with that show not going ahead. It'll be me talking. I don't know if we'll have guests. We probably will get some guests on at some point, but it will be all fantasy impact all the time for probably a couple of hours. So put it in your calendar. You can see it on the YouTube channel. 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, the 10th of February for the pregame or for the live NBA trade deadline show. So make sure you are checking that out. Tom Bryant also up 7%. Like, fine, whatever. Reacting to that big game from last time. They have it back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Davis is probably back after that. So as a streamer, Tom Bryant, not a problem. Add him, try it. Cool, that's fine. Long-term, no. Most drop player, Wenyen Gabriel. Yeah, see you later. Bye. We don't need to add him. Max Strus down 18%. Absolutely no reason to roster him. Andrew Nembhard down 18%. I know his numbers recently have not been very good. That is true. But they have a 3-game in 4 night coming up. He will still start. I know he's questionable. I don't think I would have dropped him yet. Damian Lee down 17%. In fact, should we just jack some of these guys?
Get that garbage out of here!
Terrence Mann down 17%. Yes. DiVincenzo down 15%. Thought he played pretty well last game. And it was in like decent enough minutes, 26-27. It's probably not likely to stick at that level of shooting, but I'm not sure I would have wholesale dropped him. Seth Curry down 13%. He's an in-and-out guy, a stream guy. Totally fine. And Jose Alvarado, the same. A total stream guy when Najee and Ingram return, which is probably this week. There's no way that Alvarado is going to maintain 12-team league value. There's a lot of peripheral stuff for us to get through here. We've done it. Have I buried the lead? I always bury the lead. Love burying the lead. Let's talk about the first game. The Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. In fact, because they did it again, third time beating the Celtics this season, the Orlando Magic. I don't know how Orlando keeps doing it, but they do. They win this game pretty comfortably in the end. 113-98 was the final score for Orlando over Boston. For Boston, there was no Brogdon for personal reasons. Rob Williams, no shocker there, set out the first game of the back-to-back. Marcus Smart was out. I don't think Smart's going to play tomorrow, nor do I think Horford is going to play tomorrow. There is a chance Brogdon returns. Jason Tatum copped a bit of a hit in the ribs. He went to the locker room. He returned. He played 38 minutes, so totally fine. 26, 6, and 7 with 4 threes, while Jaylen Brown had 26, 5, and 3. And the old mate, Maximum Derek White.
Maximum Derek.
Did he blow us away? Not really. But after playing 9 minutes in the first half, due to that neck issue flaring up, he ended with 27. And for those of you who can't count that well, that is 18 second half minutes. He had 11, 4, and 4, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 2 threes, and had overall a better fantasy performance than Jaylen Brown. We wanted to add him because Smart was out, Brogdon was out. They had 3 games in 4 nights. I don't think long-term Derek White's the guy. He played, 12 minutes the other day. All right, but these guys are all out. 3 games in 4 nights, great stream option. Grant Williams had 4 points in 27 minutes. He's not reliable at all. I thought he'd be good for this back-to-back, but he's not. While Al Horford stunk. 6 points, 2 threes, 3 assists, 25%. He had been playing pretty well prior to this, but still, 131st over the last week. The lack of points is a real problem if that's something that matters to you. I still think he needs to be rostered. 10-team points league, absolutely not. 12-team points league, borderline. 12-team category league, yes. Peyton Pritchard played 31 minutes with all those absences. He had 5 points, so that's not exciting. Well, they started Blake Griffin, and I'll never understand why. 3 points in 12 minutes for Blake. He did nothing. Sam Hauser had 13 in 19 minutes, but just a big win for the Magic. And what should we do with the Orlando Magic? Should we go straight to Lord Voldemort? Jonathan Isaac? He returned. We saw him back on an NBA court almost 3 years since his first knee injury, and then he came back and played 4 games in the bubble before injuring his knee again. He was back. I can't believe I saw it in my eyes. Still, no one has ever given an explanation why it took this long, and they probably never will. But he's back. He played 10 minutes. And people will look at this and go, Man, 10 points, 2 threes, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. That's amazing. What in 10 minutes, that is an unbelievable line, and it's why context is important. I'll agree with you. That's so good. There's a couple of things at play. Josh, you're a hater. Yeah, I am. Whatever. All right, there's a couple of things at play here. When players come back after a long time out, they let them cook. They let them really seek their shots. We saw it with Clay last season. And that's exactly what happened here with John. Right? Unless you can sit here, one-on-one, scream at the screen. I won't hear you, but scream at the screen. Type it in the comments. And if you can argue with me, yes, John Isaac will be a 37% usage player, then I'll agree with you. This is what's going to happen as we move forward. You know, in 20 minutes, maybe he scores 15 points, 16 points a game. I can 100% assure you that what happened here has no basis in reality. The 2 steals, sure. He's not going to be 2 steals in 10 minutes. It's 1 steal every 5 minutes. That's 4 steals in 20 minutes. Not happening. 100% not happening. And that's the most likely thing to occur out of this line. 37 uses for John Isaac has no basis in reality. It will not happen. Nor will him being a 67% three-point shooter. It will not happen. Right? So this is great. It's encouraging. It's perfect if you have him and someone wants to give you a top 70 player. During this game, someone tweeted at me and said, hey, man, is he going to be top 50 rest of the season? Like, no, he's not. But if someone believes it, you trade him away a million times out of a million. They've got a back-to-back set coming up already. He will get more minutes than this. He will play 20-plus minutes at some point this season. It might take 3 weeks to get there. But so much of this game, like, I could easily see him playing 20 minutes in 3 weeks and having 10 points, 2 threes, 3 rebounds in 20 minutes. I could see that. The steal rate is through the roof. The assist rate is through the roof. The shooting numbers are through the roof, and they have no basis in reality. Are you okay to have John Isaac on your roster? Go for it, by all means. Right? There's no problem with that. As I've said a million times, I just don't believe after that much time off that he will play enough minutes or play enough minutes fast enough for me to justify holding him. But if you're in a strong position in the standings, it's okay. And this just creates a lot of blindness, I think, around his overall rest of season outlook. Because again, our brain is not always trained to look at that. In 10 minutes, in 20 minutes, you'll have 20 points, 4 threes, 4 steals, 6 rebounds. We're set. We're cooking. We're going to win the championship. It's a league winner, right? That's some people look at it that way, and you go, oh, yeah, no. Like, he's just as likely to play 20 minutes and still only have 7 shots, and that leaves him with 12 points or 8 points or something like that. That is very important to note. But and now it just sounds like I'm being a negative Nancy here. It's just awesome that he's back. Like, it's awesome that he's got through the game. We hope there's no further injuries, but we have to be a little bit more realistic. Maybe you are being realistic. I don't know. Terrence Ross was the guy that lost his rotation spot. Bol played 17 minutes, had 5 points. You can jack Bol pretty comfortably, I think. Wendell Carter, 33 minutes, 21 and 11. While Cole Anthony, 18 points on 67%. Now, if you want to talk fake shooting numbers, there you go. 18, 5 and 4, 2 steals and a block. He is not that level of shooter pretty clearly. He's very up and down with his production, Anthony. Not a must-roster guy, but always a stream guy or stream option. While Fultz struggled with his shot, but had 8, 4 and 5. Every day, it still happens. Multiple people, hey, man, do we drop Jalen Suggs? And I don't actually know if it's a bid anymore. So every time someone asks me, I go, are you taking the piss? Because I get asked it 5 times a day. I've mentioned on this show that I get asked it 5 times a day. And the answer is the same thing. I don't know why you added him. I don't know why you added him when he came back from injury. To me, it was pretty clear that it was just not going to be the case. And I'll state it again. You do not need Jalen Suggs on your 12-team roster. You don't need him at all. Move on. The dream is dead. Wagner had 15, 7 and 6, while Banchero had 23, 5 and 2. Pretty strong minutes there. Of course, the big focus was John Isaac. The big focus is recap was John Isaac. You can say that I'm a hater or whatever, but I'm just trying to put a dose of reality into that level of production without just getting like whipped up in the positive narrative. Oh my God, he's back, 10 points. Oh my God. Like, that doesn't actually help anybody when we're trying to break it down from a fantasy point of view. Or I'm just a bitter asshole. Maybe it's a bit of both. Who knows? Let's look at the next game. Speaking of bitter assholes, I imagine Piston fans are that after they see the nonsense that this team trots out. The Bucks 150, the Pistons 130. And honestly, it wasn't this close. Giannis returned and he said, all right, cool, let's go. People are saying that I'm cooked, that I'm washed. I'll show the Pistons what's up.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Only 27 minutes, 29 and 12. He did shoot horribly from the line, as usual, 11 of 17. And again, when you are assessing Giannis, I had someone tell me the other day, man, he's totally washed. He's actually ranked behind Caleb Martin, and that is clear bullshit. It's clear bullshit. If the overall rank number tells you that, it tells you why you shouldn't read into ranks as a be all and end all of everything that you think of for fantasy. It is clear bullshit. Right? That is the thing that you need to be able to interpret. That's why having a rankings list and drafting down a rankings list is garbage. Giannis has had a lot of struggles. His field goal percentage, his blocks and steals, disappointingly low. In a punt free throw build, he's 8th this season, not 90th or whatever he might come out in your system. He's not that guy. It's like people telling you, well, I'd actually rather Rob Williams than Luka Doncic. He's a much better fantasy player because Doncic was 30th and Rob Williams was 15th. Garbage. Anyway, Giannis killed him. Middleton returned, and he wasn't disastrous, which is a huge W. 15 minutes, 8 points, 2 threes, and 4 assists. It's going to be a little bit slow, but he's just back, and that's great. Portis left with a knee issue. I don't think it's a concern. 18 and 10, while Javon Carter, this bloke out of nowhere, just throws up the most random games. 18 points, 6 threes, 3 steals, and a block. That's unbelievable. That makes him the 232nd ranked player over the last week because he's been dreadful in every other game. Don't buy into it. Ingles only 19 minutes. We wanted to see what would happen when these players returned. It's not great. 6 points, 2 threes, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block is a good line. But if he's rocking at 19 minutes a night, Joe Ingles is not going to be a 12-team league player. While Grayson Allen had 9 in 23. And I don't know why Jordan Nwora keeps getting minutes, but he does. 4 points in 14. While Paddy Connaughton, any value he might have had in 12-team leagues is cooked now that Yanni and Middleton are back. Pat did start over Middleton. That obviously won't last long term. On to the Pistons. He is a clear must-roster player. I've been banging on about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, but Jalen Duren had 23 and 15, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 69% shooting, and hit all of his free throws. I cannot stress to you enough that he is a must-roster player. Would you like me to say it again? I don't care that he had 1 game last week. I don't care that he's got like 1 game in the next 4 nights. I don't care. He is a must-roster player. Yes, Isaiah Stewart is out. Yes, his coach has some questionable lineup decisions. I don't care. Jalen Duren is a must-roster player. Bojan Bogdanovic, 33.6 threes. He may or may not get traded. It's a great sell-high opportunity. It's going to be hard to do it. But I'm not trading him because I think he's going to get traded. I'm trading him because I just don't think he's going to maintain top 30 numbers, which is where he's at the moment. He hit 73% of his shots here. He waxes and wanes at a crazy rate. And if he gets traded, then he's cooked. Sadiq Bey, the depressed penis, it's a Bey line. 21, 3, and 2. And we look at it, 2 points. It's really good. But the rest is like, 43 from the field, 78 from the line. Like, they're okay numbers. He benefits from 2 starters being out, Killian Hayes and Alf Stewart. I don't believe in Sadiq Bey as a long-term must-roster 12-team league player, even if Bojan gets traded. Jaden Ivey was okay. I love the 11 assists because Hayes is out, but 12 points, 40%, 3 of 6 on the line. He continues to be an absolute category league killer. I don't mind if you roster him. I wouldn't. In points league, I would. In a 12-team category, I wouldn't, but he can fit certain builds depending on what you need. While Alec Burks played only 19 minutes.
Alec Burke.
Despite Hayes being out. 4 points for him. We don't need to hold him in 12-team leagues. While Nerlens Noel, we said with Stewart out, I don't think he plays that much. 6 minutes, 3 points. We don't need to roster him. While Diallo played 21, and Isaiah Livers started, played 22 minutes, and didn't do very much. That team exhausts me so badly. Let's go to the next one. It is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They lose to the Houston Rockets. That's how you know things are bad, when the Rockets are beating you. 119, 114. Houston gets the victory. Gobert returned. He played 36 minutes in his first game back. Don't worry about sore groins.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
It's old Rudy Gobert. 15 and 16, 4 blocks, 63%, 71 from the line. That's Gobert. That's what we hope. We hope we get more of it. Of course, with him back, the Wizard of Naz Reid can be dropped 2 points in 9 minutes. And let me beg you, let me absolutely implore you, do not drop Kyle Anderson. Yes, it's very hard to look at a line where someone has 2 points and 1 assist in 12 minutes and go, oh, well, the Australian dickhead's right. I should keep him. Right? It's very hard to do that. I understand. He had 5 fouls. He had 3 fouls very early in the first half, including a tech. He probably should have been ejected for a mid-air push of Jalen Green. He's just had a bad night. He didn't play 12 minutes because Rudy Gobert returned. He played 12 minutes because he had 5 fouls. I implore you to hold him. You might find it difficult. I'm going to be annoyed, and I'm sure it won't be you guys. I know it won't be you guys. But tomorrow when I come and look at the most dropped players, if I see Kyle Anderson on that list, I'm going to be annoyed. Do not drop Kyle Anderson. Please. Please. D'Angelo Russell, good game. 30 points, 6 triples, 7 assists, and 2 steals in 42 minutes. It's a lot of minutes. While Goose played 37 minutes. Anthony Edwards. He's really filling it up. 31 points, 6 threes, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and a block. That is what a top 5 fantasy guy can be because he hits every category. Now, you'd like more assists, you'd like more rebounds, but he's doing so much right across the board. It's very encouraging. McDaniels, he gets a lot of minutes, Jaden, when he doesn't get into foul trouble. But his upside is so low. 10 points, 35 minutes, 4 rebounds, no defensive stats. He's 114th this season, 143 in points leagues. Hey, if you're in a 12-team points league, there is no requirement to roster Jaden McDaniels. You do not have to do it. You can find the equivalent value to Jaden McDaniels in a fantasy points league off the waiver wire, and you can exceed it by streaming. Like, he has had the same role all season, and he cannot really do anything to improve it. Nothing changes. It's just the same boring, low-usage shit from him every game. So I wouldn't worry with him in points leagues. In category leagues, it's fine, but like we get it, right? For the Rockets, what the hell do we make of Jalen Green? 35 minutes, 42 points, a career high. That's after 41 points 2 games ago, and one of the worst games you'll ever see wedged in between it. 42 points, 6 threes, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Now, I hate that he went 6 of 10 from the line, but he shot 60% from the field on huge usage. I thought he was really good. I still have the worries about the lack of peripheral stats, although they were here in this one, and overall efficiency. But this is good. We hope that we trigger a turnaround. We hope that we get it more consistently. I think you probably want to be punting field goals with him, but getting a 20-point score is a really hard thing to do, so I wouldn't be dropping him. The delicate dancer, Alperen Şengün.
It's a delicate dance in just 17 steps.
35 minutes, 21, 7, and 7. He did have some foul trouble early, but kudos to Stephen Silas, you won't hear me say that often, for keeping him in those minutes. We also had a switch of backup center, Usman Garuba 2 minutes while Fernando played 11. So Fernando got the job back, but it didn't impact Şengün too much, if at all. So that's great. There was no KPJ. That doesn't come off the tongue well at all, KPJ. Ugh. Kevin Porter Jr., cousin Kev. 33 minutes for Kenyon Martin in his spot, 6 and 7 with 3 steals. He's worth a stream. But let's talk about this guy. Tari, regular season. He started with Smith out. 26 minutes, 11 and 9, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 63% shooting. And you're all sitting here going, he's good, yeah? And I'm sitting here going, I know. I am well aware. I'm well aware. But I tell you why this game is discouraging to me. There's a couple of reasons. The last 2 games, he's put up really good stats, and I love it. I added him, right, to stream in. I actually really enjoy it. But the reason that this worries me is in this game, they close with Martin and Tate over him, which is a gigantic L, because he was playing super well also. But it also shows to me that the only way he's able to get playing time is because Jabari Smith is out. That is it. He won't play at the 3 really at all. It's because Jabari is out and he played... I feel like I need to swear. I feel like I need to say a naughty word. But he played fewer minutes than Garrison fucking Matthews. Like, Silas, what are you doing? I know you won the game. But seriously, what are you doing? Garrison Matthews. And we've got Jayshawn Tate out here flaunting around for 22 minutes. This is all very good for Tari Eason. This is not what you think it is. And I say that as a collective, because there are plenty of you out there who understand. But there are also others out there who see it and go, oh, Eason started, Josh, all these big numbers. It's happening, yeah? Like, this is happening. Like, I don't think so. Actually, I'm pretty confident it's not happening. And as soon as Jabari Smith is back, probably Wednesday, Eason will play 20 minutes coming off the bench. And it'll be all for nothing. I do not think that this is the trigger that we go, all right, now Eason's going to start and Gordon's going to get benched or traded, and it's all happening. They've realized it. I don't think that's the case. I would love to be wrong, but I don't think it's the case at all. So we just stream Eason. The Wild Thing had 11 and 7. There's no reason for him to be a 12-team league guy. I don't believe. God, that frustrated me in that game. Anyway, next one. The Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls win it. 111-100. I've seen some crazy things in my time in terms of takes, but there's this narrative going around that Trae Young is really bad and the Hawks should get rid of him and build around DeJounte Murray because Murray's the better player. Like, I'm sorry. What? they aren't going particularly well, the Hawks. I've seen a team built around DeJounte Murray. They were a 32-win Spurs team last season. I've also seen DeJounte Murray play this season and not be all that good. I've seen it. And if you want to talk about players that are not great leaders, do we just not see this whole podcast of DeJounte Murray complaining about the Spurs and all of the nonsense antics for him in the offseason? Trey is getting to that stage where he's just getting so much hatred from so many areas of the fan base that insane takes are coming out. Trade him and build around DeJounte Murray. All right. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, Trae Young had 21, 3, and 13. Didn't hit any threes. Hey, I'm not saying Trae Young's playing particularly well this season. I didn't have him in my All-Star team. But I considered him, and I didn't consider DeJounte. DeJounte had 20 and 7, 4 assists, no defensive stats with 47% shooting. DeJounte has been playing much better of late through really high field goals, but again, my issue with him is the rebounds and assist numbers from last season aren't the same. I guess Clint Capella's minutes restriction is done.
Dental plan.
Lisa needs braces.
I can't believe the coincidence that his minutes restriction ended on the same game that Onyeka Okongwu was out. That's staggering to me. The timing, what's the word? Schadenfreude? I don't even know if that's the right word. 36 minutes for Capella, 16 and 12, 2 steals and 2 blocks. If you got Okongwu, I'd feel okay about dropping him. All right, I don't think it's going to be 36 Capella and 12 Okongwu, but it's going to be 28 Capella and 20 Okongwu, and that's not enough. The Baptist had 11 and 9, Johnny Collins with 2 steals and a block, while Adrian Griffin Jr. started with DeAndre Hunter out, hit 11 points with 3 threes. It's not a long-term absence. Hunter had an asthma attack, and that is what... how do you guys say asthma? Asthma, yeah? You really bring the as out. Asthma. Anyway, it's the same shit. Hunter is out. I think he'll be back next game, and so we don't need to do anything with Griffin. It's a gigantic buy low on Bogdan Bogdanovic, but I'm not sure he's even a 10-team league player, and I'm not sure he's a top 100 guy in 12-team leagues. So while it is a buy low, you've also got to start considering that maybe he's not an every night 12-team league player. 11 points, 3 threes, 33% shooting. The efficiency is well down. The assist numbers aren't there with Murray and Young running things. For the Bulls, DeRozan, 37 minutes, 26, 1 and 6, 3 steals, really strong. Vooch was a little bit inefficient, 43%, but 14, 17, and 7 is good. And the big fella, Pat Williams, had a double-double. You don't get them from him often. 18 and 10 with 2 threes. I like the value for him at the moment with the games coming up Tuesday and Thursday. And the Rabbit Hunter, 12 points, 2 threes, 3 steals, 1 block for Alex Caruso. Love that. I think it does help the Dragic was out, but I love that. That's worth a stream. Levine had some percentage issues, 20 and 6, 2 threes, 2 steals, but 41 and 57 hurt. And Dosunmu played 29 minutes and had 2 points with 5 assists. I do not believe that Dosunmu is a 12-team league player, even with this schedule, while Kobe White had 10 points, 2 threes, and 2 steals. He's not really a 12-team league guy, even with that schedule. Also, Derek Jones, 16 minutes, while Drummond had 3 back in the rotation for a little bit. The next game was another embarrassing loss for the Hornets, 120-102. Utah gets the job done. The Cockroach, Mason Plumlee, played 26 minutes. He had 18, 8, and 5. They continue to play him too much. I don't know if it'll ever change. Honestly, I got no idea. But then we've got the big fella, the rookie, Mark Williams.
Oh, hi, Mark.
18 minutes, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 71% shooting. He remains an elite trade deadline stash. Elite. And if he's going to do this, there's actual 12-team value in him. Grab him. It is less than 2 weeks until the trade deadline. And this is top 100 over the last week production from Williams. So you're getting actual numbers here. There's 3 guys that I look at. There's him. There's Isaiah Jackson, which Carlisle's dicking us around. There's Zach Collins. Maybe I throw KJ Martin in there. These are the only guys that I'm really interested in stashing for the deadline. And Williams is actually giving you numbers. Someone asked me the other day, hey, why are you pushing for us to add Dennis Smith? 29 minutes, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. Didn't have any defensive stats, which he usually does. This is why. Now, when LaMelo plays, then we turf him straight away. Not a problem with that. But LaMelo could have been out 4 weeks. Someone told me that he was going to get shut down for the season. Of course, they were lying and pulling it out of their ass. But the range of length of absence for LaMelo was huge. It doesn't look like it's going to be long-term. But the reason we added Dennis Smith was for this. This is why. Good short-term production. Jalen McDaniels, 9 and 9, 28 minutes. If there is someone out there that you want to take a flyer on, I don't mind dropping Jalen. Hayward is back. LaMelo might play next game or the game after. And when that happens, and then when Martin is back and when Oubre is back, there is nothing for McDaniels long term. It's not there. And even now, like, he's okay. He's fine. But as soon as LaMelo plays, I'm really worried about where his minutes come from. Hayward played 24 minutes. I wouldn't rush to add him. 11 and 2 with a steal, while Rozier struggled from both the field and the line. 39 from the field, 60 from the line, 23, 5 and 2. He'd been playing really well. This smells, but at least he got good volume on the scoring, which is something that you can count on. While Paul Washington Jr., do you know before today's game he was a top 40 player over the last week, and then he had 3 and 1 on 14%. That stinks. It kicks you right in the balls. It hurts. Still holding, but he's one of the more inconsistent players to get of the season. And maybe we can do it. Should we pass the baton?
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
I feel like it fits. I just got to remember to play it for him. Hey, those of you in Dynasty Leagues, I know this is not a good line. 2 points, 0 of 7 shooting. I think Bryce McGowan's is going to be a good player. 28 minutes for him, 2 and 4. The fact that he played 28 minutes while old mate James Bouknight, one of the biggest draft busts in recent years, got 0 minutes, should tell you something. I think McGowan's can become a starter caliber player at some point. He might not, but for a second round pick, I really like him. And the fact that they've lent in and gave him 28 minutes while Kai Jones played 4 and Bouknight played 0 should tell you something. Don't know what it is, but it tells you something. For the Jazz, Kessler played only 22 minutes due to foul trouble. He still had 13 and 9. He's a must-roster player. Don't panic. While Vanderbilt had 21 minutes because Kessler was limited. 4 and 6 with 4 assists and 2 steals. I love the 2 steals. The assists and rebounds are really good from Vanderbilt. I don't believe that Vanderbilt Bar is a 12-team league guy. Markkanen 25 and 11 and Conley 14, 3 and 3 with 4 threes. Want to talk again about short Rui Hachimura, and that is Colin Sexton. He played 20 minutes. He had 11, 2 and 3. He is a terrible fantasy profile player. If you want to hold on to him under the belief that Mike Conley gets traded, okay, I get it. But you know what? Even if he was to start and play 30 minutes a night, I'm not convinced he's a top 100 fantasy guy. He needs to have very high usage to be even in that mix. And I thought he would have it on this team. But, again, I should have stuck with my gut of like, I don't actually think he's very good. And anytime I was like asked, hey, how come you think Sexton's worth a pick in the 90s? I said, hey, I don't think he's very good at all. Don't let this be an endorsement of me telling you that I think he's good. I just think that he's going to get shots, but he's not. And he's a backup. And he's rostered everywhere. And I don't know why. You don't have to hold him in 12-team leagues, I don't think. Nor with Malik Beasley, who had 20 minutes for 9 points and 3 threes. He's a streamer for threes, and that is it. While Agbaji had a nasty fall, but he was able to return 8 points with 2 threes. He's still just a very deep league player. It also wasn't a great night for the man on the street, Jordan Clarkson.
JordanClarkson.
Just pretty empty. 18 points, 0 rebounds, 2 assists. He's been pretty strong this season. That's nothing for us to get all that excited about. And then we had 22 useless minutes from Taylor Horton-Tucker. That's not fair. He had 6 assists, which is useful, but I don't trust Taylor Horton-Tucker to be useful on a game-by-game basis. Therefore, we're not adding him really in any leagues. All right, this one was embarrassing again for the Spurs. They lose 147-127 to the Blazers. Let's talk Jakob Poeltl, because there are a couple of ways we can look at this. 14 and 7 on 75% shooting is actually a really good fantasy line. 16 minutes is dreadful. So which one do we look into? I think it's a mixture of both. Why did he have 16 minutes? Well, 5 fouls. That's easy to say. There's a general narrative around Poeltl that he sucks. I had someone ask me, hey, do I add him off the wire? Like, why was he dropped? What is going on? Right, so there is an opportunity here while some things are dropping down and people get so riled up about tanking. Oh, the Spurs, they're just taking him off the court. They're keeping their best player benched. Oh, this is terrible. I can't deal with this with him. He's going to go somewhere and be an 18-minute-a-night backup. I actually think he's turning into a buy low player. If he goes to Toronto, he's playing 30+. Right? Depending on who knows where he goes, right? If he goes at all. But with the way that people are valuing him at the moment, you can get him for nothing, pretty much. I don't think the cost to acquire Jakob Poeltl in a trade would be very expensive at all, given the way that people are speaking about him at the moment. I don't think you need to invest much. And, yes, it might not work out. He might not go to Toronto. He might go to Boston and play 16 minutes a night, and then, obviously, it's useless. But you're not really paying top dollar at all in any sort of deal for Poeltl at the moment. So, look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the vitriol I'm hearing about Poeltl, or the common thread of how badly and how he's getting benched all the time, is not realistic for people who roster him. But, like, I'm looking at some of the recent trades on Yahoo, like traded for Michael Porter Jr. I think I'd much rather Poeltl, to be honest. But then there's some trades where he was traded for Miles Turner, which is an insane deal. That's crazy. What the hell is that? So I don't know how to really grade his value. But, I've just seen a few things that make me think maybe there's a bit of a buy low there for Jakob. Trey Jones only played 24 minutes. This was a blowout, remember. 12, 2, and 7. While Keldon Johnson did way to 20 points with 4 rebounds. He had 1 assist only. The old horse.
Whose horse is that?
He had a steal and a block. He was 1 or 2 from the line. He's just sort of doing Keldon things. Not a bad night, for sure, but he always lacks in some of those peripherals. I'm impressed with what Jeremy Sohan's doing at the moment.
Zohan now!
18 and 6, 4 assists. The free throw shooting's improved. I think he is 12-team league valuable at the moment. While Langford had 12, I wouldn't worry there. When Richardson played 19 minutes, that's a bit yuck. 11 points, 2 threes. He was playing pretty well. This will take him outside the top 100 over the last week. He just remains a 12-team league fringe stream type guy. Zach Collins got the extra minutes with Pirtle in foul trouble. He revenge gamed his way to 11, 3, and 3. I still think, as I said earlier, he's in those top 3 stash guys for the trade deadline upcoming, and Stan Johnson had 0 points in 17 minutes. For the Blazers, Lillard, 37, 1 and 12, 7 triples. He's on a real roll at the moment, putting up some big numbers, and it is awesome to see that Yusuf Nurkic played 27 minutes, 25, 11, and 7, 3 steals and 2 blocks. He got cooked by Tom Bryant last game, and there were some people really frustrated with that. It's great to see him do it, and again, it just highlights that Drew Eubanks was not an ad. He's a stream for deeper leagues and a block stream option, but he played 16 minutes with 7 points and a block. We knew it was coming. We knew Jeremy Grant was going to regress. 3 points on 11%. It's shithouse. Right, but he's had so many great games that you can sort of forgive that. Although, in saying that, he is outside the top 120 over the last week. And I think we are going to see his current season rank, which is around 60, continue to push back to the 80s. That's where I think it's going to end up. Simons was pretty good, but he's always pretty empty. 26, 1 and 1. The 4 threes are nice. 60% shooting is good, but the lack of peripherals hurts. And I was also impressed with Shaedon Sharpe. But what do we take out of this game from taking on the Spurs? 19 points is good, but he has one of the worst assist rates in the entire NBA. And again, he had 0 here. I'm officially worried about Josh the Hitman Hart. 9, 5, and 4. In a 10-team league, I would drop. In a points league, I would consider it as well. And there is a lot of whispers that maybe someone like Nasir Little might move into the starting lineup. Hart's minutes continue to come down. I wouldn't make a rash move on dropping him, but I'm also not against it. I think we are heading that way. It feels like we're heading that way. They got a good win here, the Blazers. That alleviates a bit of pressure, but things are constantly pushing down for him. As for Little, he's off his minutes restriction. He played 18 minutes, 10 points and 2 threes. 3 assists. Nice game. He wouldn't be a 12-team ad if he started, but he'd be someone to watch. While Gaz Payton had 3 steals, that's what he's there for, and he delivered. We always love when players deliver what they promise to us as streaming guys with steals. That's what he does, and that's all he does. So the last game of the night was a big blowout. The Grizzlies and the Kings. The Kings get the victory here comfortably, 133-100. It wasn't that easy the whole way. The Kings really turned it on in the third quarter. Memphis was without Ja and Steve Adams, though, on the back-to-back. Without Adams, they didn't start Brandon Clark. In fact, they started Xavier T. Illman. 30 minutes for T. Illman, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals and a block in 83% shooting. That's really good. Is he an option if Adams rests again? I don't know. What I would be doing is pretty annoyed if I had Brandon Clark and I was one of those people who is stubbornly held on to him this whole time. 13 minutes for Clark, 6 points, not much else. I don't understand why he's rostered in as many leagues as he is, and I wouldn't bother with it. The Tyus Jones luxury stash paid off again, 12, 6, and 8, 2 steals and 2 threes. If you're in the top of your standings, he's a great guy to have because Morant's going to sit games. He just is. And Jones always gives you this little bit of a punch. Des Bane, 21 points with 3 threes in 29 minutes and 5 assists. And Jaren had 19 and 5. But it was a pretty humbling loss for the Grizzlies, who again were without some key players. Brooksy had 13 points. That's pretty good for him. With 6 assists and a 1-1. He did have a late locker room trip. I don't think it's anything to worry about, but we'll find out about more about that as we move forward. There was extra minutes for bench players. This is a blowout because Kenny Lofton played 5 minutes, so that's how you know where this game was headed. For the Kings, what a game from Trey Lyles. 24 points, 6 threes, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 73% shooting. Now, before this game, Trey Lyles was ranked 328th over the last week. He was ranked 272nd for the season. This was great. He doesn't get steals or block shots or honestly shoot 75% from 3 because nobody does. This was a really good game. He was also dreadful. I think their last game played 13 minutes. Do not add Trey Lyles based on this. Please don't. You don't get this game if you add him. Also, Keegan Murray. The game looks pretty good. I think he's a huge sell high personally. 20 and 9 is really good. It's big numbers, and people love big numbers. 5 threes are good. He's also going at a crazy high clip at the moment. I think he's hitting 70% of his twos and like 48% of his threes. He was at 64% shooting overall here. He had no assists, no steals, and only 1 block, and got to the line once. It's very hard to maintain value on insane shooting percentages, which is what Murray is doing at the moment. By all means, have him. I don't think that he's this guy. I think he's more like 100 to 120 sort of a player. And he's rolling with some very good shooting at the moment, which is going to blow up at some stage. It is. Same with the pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. Except Barnes didn't even bring rebounds to this one. 20 points, 6 threes, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 60% shooting. These guys hit 67. Look, Lyles, Murray, and Barnes hit 75%, 71%, and 67% from 3. Like, that's insane shooting. This team shot 55% from 3. They had like 30 turnovers or 25 turnovers or something and still won the game by 35 points because they could not miss. It's one thing we look at for fantasy and go, we love it if they're on our roster. But when we see it happen, we go, oh yeah, nah, there's no way. Like, it is going to fall away. It is. Fox had 17, 4, and 10 with 4 steals. Pretty good game from him. And it was also good to get a good performance from Malik Monk because he's really struggled. 24 minutes, 13, 9, and 8. Is that a sign to add him? I don't know about that. But it puts him firmly back into the 12-team streamer area. While Herter struggled, Lyles got his minutes. 21 minutes for Fanapants, 5 points there on 29%. Nothing we need to care about. But let's talk about Sabonis, who, again, he's been playing really well. I wouldn't say this was his best, but he got a triple-double. People love a triple-double. It was a Domantas Sabonis triple-double, which is when you get a triple-double, but no threes, no steals, no blocks, and he does it all the time. 14, 10, and 11. He had 8 turnovers as well. I wouldn't say that those numbers are particularly good. He was still honestly important, like plus 22, really strong. And he remains in my all-star team, despite me being a guy who doesn't really believe in him being a guy that leads a team to a high-end playoff position. Because, as you saw in this one, they actually cooked him defensively at times. But those numbers are still really strong. He continues to put up good ones. It's always weird to see these triple-doubles and triple-zeros combined in the same game. He does it all the time. With Chimezie Metu out, Rashawn Holmes got the backup minutes. He had a steal and a block, 14 minutes, but that is really not anything that we need to care about for majority of fantasy leagues. And now, that'll take us across to the lines of the night. The monstrous does go to Damian Lillard. The waiver wire, of course, has to go to Trey Lyles. You can't really top that sort of performance. The young gun is the big fella, passport legend Jalen Duren. And the dud of the night is PJ Washington Jr. Your top 10 players in category leagues, number 1, Lillard, followed by Duren, Lyles, Bojan Bogdanovic, Yusuf Nurkic, Anthony Edwards, Lauri Markkanen, Javon Carter, just, one of these things is not like the other. Rudy Gobert and Jalen Green at number 10. I can't wait to post this on my Instagram, the top 5 players, and every comment's going to be going, Jalen Green, bro scored 42 points. Sabonis, triple-double, not one of the top performers. No, in category leagues, they were not. But someone will say it, almost guaranteed. Top 10 players rostered in less than 50% of leagues. Number 1 was Lyles. Great performance. Don't add. Javon Carter. No, it's fake. Tari preseason. Yeah, look, if Jabari's out, we stream him. And if he's not, I don't think we care. Cole Anthony was really good. He's very hard to trust, but there's always 12-team fringe value, stream value. Monk was really good as well. Back into the streaming mix. Grayson Allen. Xavier T. Illman. Not really buying that. Mark Williams. Well, you know what my thought process is on him. Jeremy Sohan. I think he's a 12 ad. And Shaden Sharp was good, but I don't care. Points leagues, top 10 players. Jalen Green at 1, followed by Lillard, Nurkic, Duren, Anthony Edwards, Vucevic, D'Angelo Russell, Rudy Gobert, Yanni at 9, and number 10 was Lauri Markkanen. And that brings me to the end of today's show. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and Odyssey. It's an app. And on YouTube, get me to 60K. Sub, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and don't forget, trade deadline show coming up, 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Is it the 10th or 9th? I've got no idea. Whatever the day the deadline's on. Thursday, the 10th of February, let's say it is, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be here live, and I think it's going to be fun. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.